Hi guys, welcome to the Tutoring by Trace video on how to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for a side of a right triangle. So in this video, we're going to be looking at two different examples of Pythagorean theorem problems, and we're going to be solving for a side, like it says in the title. So, what is the Pythagorean theorem? The Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And in the Pythagorean theorem, the variable a stands for the first leg, b stands for the second leg, and c stands for the hypotenuse, or the longest side, of the right triangle that we are solving for. So here's our first example. And so in this example, we know that the hypotenuse is what we're solving for, because the hypotenuse has the variable on it. So we're going to be solving for the hypotenuse, and then we know that the two legs are 6 and 8. And this is a right triangle, so we can use the Pythagorean theorem on it. We know that because there is a right triangle symbol in the corner. So the first step in solving using the Pythagorean theorem, of course, we want to label the sides. We want to make sure that we know which variables we're going to be using and how we're going to plug it into the Pythagorean theorem. So I put A as 6, B as 8, and C as X. And now, it doesn't really matter if you put A as 8 or B as 6. As long as you put 6 and 8 as A and B, because those are the two legs. They are the shorter of the three sides. I tend to put A as the shorter of the two legs and B as the longer of the two legs. But again, it really doesn't matter. As long as you have the hypotenuse on one side and the legs on the other side, you're going to be doing the Pythagorean theorem correctly. So that's step one. We want to label our sides. And now we want to plug our side lengths into the Pythagorean theorem so we can then solve. So we're going to plug 6 in for A. So we have 6 squared. And then we're going to plug in B. Sorry, we're going to plug in 8 in for B. We have 8 squared. Then we're going to want to plug in X in for C, which is X squared. So we get 6 squared plus 8 squared is equal to X squared. And so now we have this triangle into the Pythagorean theorem, and we are now ready to solve, which is our next step. We're going to solve. And so when we solve, we want to use the correct order of operations, which you should have learned in either pre-algebra or algebra 1. So here we'll just review this a little bit. The first order of operation is parentheses. Then we're going to do exponents, multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction. Now, in multiplication and division, you can do division first for multiplication, as long as it's left to right. And then addition and subtraction, same thing. You can do subtraction first, as long as it's left to right. But so in this equation, we don't have any parentheses, so we can just X off parentheses. And we're going to want to go straight to exponents, because we have two exponents that we can solve, that we can actually simplify. So we have 6 times 6 plus 8 times 8 is equal to c squared. And I didn't write out c times c because we can't solve for it, because it's still a variable. But I can do it with the ones that we actually have values plugged in for, 6 and 8, A and B. So we're going to want to simplify that, and we get 36 plus 64 is equal to c squared. So we're done with the exponents, we're done with the multiplication and division, and now we're on to addition and subtraction. So whenever we add 36 plus 64, we get 100 is equal to c squared. So here, we want to get it to where it's just equals c. We don't want equals c squared. So in order to get it to be equals c, we have to find the opposite of what is a squared number, which is finding the square root of the number. So we're going to find the square root of c and the square root of 100. Because remember, whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. And so whenever we find the square root of c, we get c equals the square root of 100, which is 10. So we get 10 equals c. So then we have our answer. A is equal to 6, B is equal to 8, and C is equal to 10. So there, we just solved our first right triangle using the Pythagorean theorem. And then if you plug those values back into the Pythagorean theorem and check, you get 6 times 6, 36, plus 8 times 8, 64. You get 100 is equal to 10 times 10, which is 100. 100 is equal to 100, and that checks out. So you always want to make sure that you check and did the math correctly. So here's our second example, and so we have, this time it's a little different, because we aren't solving for the hypotenuse, we're actually solving for a leg. We're solving for the shorter of the two legs. So we have that the hypotenuse is equal to 10, the longer leg is 9, and the shorter leg is the unknown value. So that's the side of the right triangle that we are going to be solving for. Again, we always want to label the sides first. So we have A is equal to 9, B is equal to the unknown value x, and C is equal to 10. So we're going to plug those values into the Pythagorean theorem. We have 9 squared plus x squared is equal to 10 squared. And then we're going to solve, again, got to use the order of operations, PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction. Again, we don't have any parentheses, we just have exponents, so we're going to skip p altogether and go straight into the exponents. Simplify those exponents. We have 9 times 9 plus x to the power of 2 is equal to 10 times 10, which, when you simplify that, you have 81 plus x squared is equal to 100. You can take out those parentheses. I just have those in there, so whenever I'm multiplying, I don't, get mixed up. So now we have 81 plus x squared is equal to 100. And then from here, we want to get the variable x onto one side of the equation. And so to do that, we have to eliminate the 81 from that side. So we're going to subtract 81 from each side, because 81 is a positive number. And so 100 and 81 are like values, so you can subtract those. So you have 81 plus x squared, that whole value, minus 81, which gets you just x squared. And then you have 100 minus 81, which is 19. So then from here, this is the same thing as last time. We have to find the square root of the variable x to get it to where it's just x equals the value. So we have to find the square root of x squared, which is x, is equal to the square root of 19. So when you find the square root of x squared, you get x, and then whenever you find the square root of 19, you get x is equal to 4.36. And for that number, I did round to the nearest tenth. I find it easier instead of, it was a pretty long number, so I didn't want to type it all out. So A is equal to 9, B is equal to 4.36, and C is equal to 10. Then you can always plug that back in and check. 9 times 9 is equal to 81 plus B, which is 4.36, which is 19. So then when you have 81 plus 19, that equals 100. 10 times 10 is equal to 100. That checks out. We solved it correctly. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to use the Pythagorean theorem to find the side of a right triangle. Follow at Tutoring by Trace on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. And leave a comment down below if you have any questions or need additional help. Like this video, comment it. I hope this helped, and thank you.